This'll do, Gary. You can wait here.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Mr. Titmus, what an honor, sir. Not often we get a visit from a cabinet minister in this quiet little country practice. Do please, have a seat.
Tell me about my ex-mother-in-law.
Tell you what, exactly?
Everything you know, that might be enough.
You will be dropping in to see her, I suppose?
You suppose wrong.
She's dying, I'm afraid. Skin and bone, that's almost all that's left of her. Such a great beauty. I'm told she never leaves her bedroom and eats nothing.
That makes up for it by drinking.
We can deal with the champagne bills. Phenomenal. Such a lot has had to be sold to pay off debts.
I suppose she's made a will. You mean she's not going to leave the house to my son, Nick?
I didn't say that. What Lady Fanner has done in her will is purely academic.
Academic? Why'd you say that?
Well, not of much practical importance. Under the circumstances.
As the circumstances being, I suppose, that the whole caboodle is in hock to the bank. She's drunk up the equity. They'll foreclose as soon as her ladyship is boxed up.
Mr. Titmus, please,
You never could hold your tongue, could you, Kenton? You've told me exactly what I needed to know. Well, all I can say is thank God you're not my lawyer. I might as well conduct my business on the news at 10.
There's notices down there where you came in. This place is reserved for nature.
Who are you?
I am the keeper and warden of the Rapstone Nature Area.
Tell me who you are.
Do you lot know what we get on natural downland that's known no artificial fertilizers or pesticides whatsoever, ever, for any kind? Eh? I mean, have you any idea what you could be crushing down there?
We're going. We wouldn't want to stay here anyway. Tell him who you are.
Only a woodlark's nest, that's all. No, of course not. You wouldn't realize that, would you? No. Not in your ignorance.
Why don't you shut up and mind your own bloody business?
It's not my business, this is Scrap's business. Scrap! You know what that is? SCRAP, the Society for Conservation, Rural and Arboreal Protection. No. I don't suppose that means anything to you, does it?
Of course it does. It means I'm your boss. I just happen to be junior minister at HEAP, the Department of Housing, Ecological Affairs and Planning. May come as news to you out here in the sticks, but we've just taken over the scrap reserves with a view to privatization.
So you better keep a civil tongue. If you value your job, that is.
No. You're not going to stop me speaking out, you know. Not on behalf of woodlarks that can't speak for themselves. And the rainforest, fox hunting, fur coats, and the black rhino, and hedgerow destruction.
Oh, don't forget the greenhouse effect.
No, don't you forget it either.
Come on, let's go, before he starts boring a hole in the ozone layer.
You'll find yourself mentioned in the Scrap Annual Report.
Shouts hanging out.
You know this is Titmus's country.
You might tell him, Ken, about that idiot.
The boss was born in some rustic hovel. And his ex-mother-in-law's got a stately home somewhere around.
Don't lie on a woodlark's nest. Leslie Titmus wouldn't have any sympathy with that type of nonsense.
+2, Gary. By then I should have had my fill of academics. You're here on your own, Mrs. Sidonia.
Well, yes.
That makes two of us. Oh, I remember now. They were talking about you before lunch. Your husband used to teach you.
Tony, yes, history.
And you're a widow.
That's not a word I'm very keen on, really.
Your husband's dead, isn't he?
He's dead. A widow, I suppose that's what I am.
Well, now we know. You live in Oxford?
No, I share a flat with a girlfriend in London.
You're living it up among the bright lights.
I'm hardly living it up at all.
And these are your friends?
Our friends, when Tony was alive.
They don't seem like your sort.
And what do you think my sort is exactly?
I'll tell you when I get to know you better.
Is Jenny looking after you, Minister?
Why are you here, apart from the obvious reason?
What's that?
Willoughby's always on the lookout for someone who can help St. Jerome's.
I'm here because of my son. Nick's about to do his finals.
What's he reading?
English. He knew English before he came here. Even I knew English. I can't see how reading English can help the economy.
My husband spent his whole life studying the Renaissance popes. I don't suppose that did much for the economy.
Renaissance popes?
Of course, they behaved appallingly, but he always felt able to forgive them.
And yet it's not my subject. I wouldn't have had the talent for it.
Ecclesiastical history.
That and forgiving.
Minister, I know you want to encourage practical studies. My own work, for instance, on the lesser crustacea.
You mean your shrimps?
Well, I mean the whole range, from the lobster downwards. What a marvellous source of food. What a wealth-producing industry. That's why I thought the government might look with favour on the new library we are hoping to build here at St. James.
the Willoughby Blaine Biology Library.
Well, I might just call it that. My tenuous grasp on posterity. I meant to ask you, Jenny, could you join us at Covent Garden on Monday?
I'm not sure. What is it?
Placido in a brand new barrow. This Greek producer woman is setting it all in Stalin's Kremlin. It should be rather fun.
Oh, the lovers' duet. Quite the most touching Verdi ever wrote. Don't you simply love a ballet in mascara?
I've never seen it. I'm not a great one for dancing.
Dancing?
Yes, I know nothing about your ballet in mascara.
The garden. What about a short, digestive stroll around the mulberry tree? It really is looking rather fine.
What were they laughing at?
Perhaps you were right. They're not my sort of people.
You're working hard, studying.
Pretty hard.
I may have good news for you, son.
What sort of good news?
Something you may be coming in for. A house.
I don't think I need a house.
Not for a while yet, perhaps, but in time. Well, there are not many better investments.
What would I do with a house? I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know that at all. I thought I might get a job as a librarian somewhere.
A librarian, Nicky. Of all the damn silly ideas.
Joyce, listen to this. Fallowfield Country Town. A proposed development of 10,000 houses. It will entail a new commuter high-speed rail link and the construction of a spur to the motorway. Architect-designed town centre with civic buildings. Site between the towns of Worsfield and Hartscombe, making use of hitherto undeveloped areas such as the village of Skirfield and the Rathstone Valley.
What's so funny about that, Ken?
I told you. The Rathstone Valley. It's the boss's back garden. That's what's so funny.
I thought Leslie lived in some block of mansion flats.
Oh, he does. But I wonder how his own mum would like to wake up next to Tesco's. Might be interesting to hand our Secretary of State a political hot potato. See where he drops it.
You want to be a bit careful. He's used to winning.
Oh, he won't know who handed it to him. It'll come as a planning decision through the normal channels. Anyway, there's another excellent reason for laying down a bit of concrete on the Rathstone Valley.
What?
It's where that bearded lunatic made us get off the grass.
You mean when you were hot to trot?
That's what I mean exactly.
Yes?
Mr. Kraken to see the minister.
Yes, of course. It's him.
I wanted to see you, Ken.
Oh, yes? What about?
You go to Covent Garden from time to time, as I understand it. My junior minister goes out with the culture snobs.
I know someone whose company has a box there.
Verdi's Ballo in Mascara. What's that, singing or dancing?
The Masked Ball. It's an opera. Singing.
Bastards.
Minister, this is a typical piece of British countryside that may vanish if your policy of free market forces for the building industry is actually put into effect. So let me put this to you. Wouldn't that be a tragic loss?
Let me say this to you, Brian. Some people with plenty of money who can enjoy the privileges of living in the greenfield areas will talk a lot about not disturbing the peace and tranquility of the countryside. Oh no, say the Green Welly Brigade of the countryside clubs and the rural preservation societies. We want the government to be fair, but not in our back garden. My old father had a word for their sort. Dogs, he would have called them, in the manger.
Minister, let me press you on this. What about the Conservative voters who live in the country?
Well, what about them? I know all about England's green and pleasant
The old boy's
land.
in fantastic form.
I got to know about country life.
From our point of view.
What's that meant to mean?
Garden for 6pence a day and a glass of ginger beer if the rector's wife is feeling particularly generous.
Are you really trying to tell us, Minister, that you're just a simple country boy at heart?
For a country boy, anyway, Brian. And I knew what the countryside meant to me. Damned hard work and a decent home for anyone with the determination to save up for it.
But, Minister...
Look. Here's what I would say to the Rural Preservation Society, which means the Keep the Other Folk Away Society. Oh, we shall have whingers, we shall have petitions and protests, but let me say this to you. While I'm at Heap, there will be very few no-go areas for the operation of the free market economy.
That's going to be good news for the building trade.
I very much hope so. A prosperous construction industry is vital for our economy.
Not such good news for the local wildlife.
You mean the bearded lentil-eating ramblers? I suppose they'd squawk a little.
Thank you for that, Minister.
Thank you, Brian.
You want to kill off all our oak trees, Daphne? Can't you be made aware, dear, of the death and destruction that you're causing, penetrating the ozone layer like that?
I don't think your oak trees are going to drop dead because of one little hairspray.
That is not the point. The point is, we've got to set an example.
Oh, have we? We don't see hardly anybody to set an example to. Joni! Oh, where's she got
The attitude. That's what I object to. Why, for heaven's sake, every day there are forests the size of Europe, totally disappearing, and what are you doing about it? Spraying your bloody air, that's all. Adding to the terrible toll of destruction. Sometimes I wonder, Daphne, don't you care at all?
Not when I can't do much about it, no.
I know that is exactly the sort of attitude that is going to lose us the black rhino.
Oh, bugger the black rhino.
What was that?
I said bugger the black rhino. And I shan't be all that sorry to see the last of the whales, either.
I don't know. When I married you, Daphne, I took you for some genuinely caring sort of person. Well, seems I was wrong.
Listen, Hector, there are men sleeping in cardboard boxes by the canal in Worsfield. There are old ladies with all their worldly goods in plastic bags, kipping down in the bus shelters in Parkinson Avenue. What use is the black rhino to them? That's what I want to know.
If that child is picking the bee orchids...
Joni! Don't worry. I am taking that child, as you call her, to the pictures in Hartscombe. And then we're going for a giant Whopper burger. Jam-packed, full of Argentinian beef and bugger the rainforests, too.
Well, I suppose it's a flower. Looks embalmed.
In a plastic coffin. It's got some sort of pin up its bum.
Perhaps it's a corsage.
A what?
Well, it's something you pin on. Going out to dinner, don't some men send them to women before they take them out, I mean?
Some men? Don't think Mr. Sidonia would have ever sent a girl anything like that.
No, Tony wouldn't.
Well, he would. Not that awful little politician.
I told you he telephoned. He said, would I like a bite of dinner?
Did he say he'd go? Why, in God's name?
Well, it was at lunch in Oxford. They were all laughing at him because he didn't know about opera.
Well, there must be millions of people who don't know about opera, but you don't have to go out to dinner with them.
Poor Mr. Titmuss was looking around the table and he had no idea he'd done anything wrong.
You're not going to wear that thing, are you?
Oh, I suppose I'd better.
Why on earth? Well, I don't want to seem rude. You take my advice. There are times when seeming rude is the best possible thing to do.
My junior minister, young Ken Kraken, recommended this place. Reckon he's planning to starve me to death. I know he wants my job.
Your job must be very interesting.
So far to go before they grow up.
Who grow up?
People expect the government to wipe their noses, see they wear their vests in winter, and make sure they have a nice view of empty fields from their bedroom window, so they can pretend there's no one else in the world except them. You know, they're very keen on the rights of Patagonian Indians, but they won't allow the right of an English builder to put up a few houses within 10 miles of their view. That's what's got to change. Am I boring you?
No, of course not.
I don't think this interests you at all.
You can see their point.
Whose point?
People who live in the country, after all, that's what they stay there for. Peace and solitude. You can understand that.
Is that what you would like, Jenny?
Sometimes, perhaps. Tony and I were always planning it. When he wrote all the time and could give up teaching.
Tell you what, why don't we go somewhere where you can get fed?
Where are you taking me?
Don't worry.
My wife, Charlotte, used to like this sort of thing. Fish and chips, eggs and sausage, all with plenty of sauce. She'd have eaten sauce sandwiches if I'd let her. She thought that was terribly working class. She was very keen on anything working class for Charlotte. Coming from where I did, I couldn't see the attraction.
Where did she come from?
Ah, well. Oh, she was the girl from Rapston Manor. The sort that's desperately in love with their ponies until they discover some lad that works around the stable and likes sauce sandwiches.
That was you.
Not me. I suppose I was the next best thing. By the way, you can take that flower up if it's embarrassing.
You're not married now?
Oh, no. Charlotte passed away.
Sorry.
Yes, I thought you would understand. That's why I told you.
Because I go for people who like tomato ketchup. I have to say, Tony couldn't stand it.
No, because he's dead too.
Yes.
We're alike, aren't we? Both married to dead people.
Does that mean we're alike?
We're both alone. Let's see. Eggs and sausage, chips twice. £6, 2 teas. Yes, right, they're not diddling us.
You add up bills.
Always.
Tony never did that. He always said that a waiter has got to earn his living, and it's the duty of people who can afford restaurants to be cheated a little.
Sounds like an easy man to rob.
Yes. Yes, I suppose he was.
Did you enjoy your dinner?
Second one, yes.
Hang about, Wilf. This is not on.
What's not on?
Coming a bloody great new town on our rabbit farm. That's what they're going to do. It says so in the Artscombe Herald. Thanks, Edie. Hey, you look worn out, I must say. You been out with your Len? I bet you exhausted you, eh?
Oh, shut up, Mother. You know I don't like it.
Don't like talking about it, is that it?
I don't like anything about it. You know that.
Silly girl, eh? Look, listen to this, Will. The plans for Fallowfield Country Town, presented by a consortium headed by Kempen Flats, the builders, are likely to run into considerable opposition from rural pressure groups and other protesters.
Thanks, girl. What's that mean?
Means that's what we're going to be. Our family, a local pressure group, and other protesters. Your father, Dr. Fred, the old rector, he was one for protesting, wasn't he? The Reverend Simeon Sincox knew how to raise a good old stink about things.
Oh, yes, he knew that. Concrete over the valley? They can't do that.
I thought you'd say that.
Pedestrian walkways, multi-story car park. Supermarkets all over Rapston.
And over our rabbit hacienda. You'll stop it, won't you, Doctor?
Well, I'll have a word with someone.
Someone you know, Dr. Fred?
Someone I used to know very well.
Well, you'll give us our orders?
What?
When to start marching? Oh! There is one thing, Doctor. It's our Evie. She says she can't fancy her sex.
Her own sex?
She reckons she can't abide doing it.
And that's a worry to you?
It's a worry to Len Bigwell, seeing as how he's her intended. I mean, we've got a big wedding planned for the autumn time. What's the matter with the young people, Doctor? We never had no trouble not fancying it. Not from what I can remember. Look forward to it, more or less. As I still manages to this day.
A marriage guidance counsellor from Worsfield visits the town hall once a week.
Marriage guidance? Think that'd bring her to her senses?
It might. Will Evie agree to go?
She will, Doctor, or I'll know the reason why. Not fancying her sex. Never heard anything so ridiculous.
Miss Bellamy.
Yes, Doctor?
Yes. I want you to get me Heap in London.
In Whitehall?
Yes, the Ministry of Housing, Ecological Affairs and Planning.
The press office, Doctor?
No, I want to speak to the Secretary of State.
We were children in that valley, for God's sake.
Yes, of course. Your father was the rector and I had the privilege of cutting his nettles.
I'm sorry he ever asked you to do that. He could have saved us all a whole lot of trouble.
Don't apologize. It taught me a lot.
But we all played there and bicycled round it. We all loved it.
I don't know that I loved it all that much. It was somewhere I wanted to get away from, to go on to better things.
What's better than the Rapston Valley, this? An office in Whitehall, surrounded by dusty files and dustier civil servants?
Power, Fred. It's a dirty word to you, isn't it? Something you've never been able to understand, let alone get your fingers on.
If you've got power, use it properly.
You mean use it to keep the valley nice and empty so Dr. Simcox can go for a quiet country stroll and get up to a bit of nonsense in the woods, if he's lucky?
No, so everyone can enjoy it. It's the English countryside.
Oh, yes, and how do you like it to be? Full of cart horses and yokels in smocks sucking straws and hay wagons and ducks on the pond. Wake up, Doctor. Countryside today means a couple of golf courses and a middle-income housing development.
It doesn't have to mean that.
You'll never learn, will you? You've got to pay the price of prosperity.
Then the price is too high.
Too high for you, perhaps. Not too high for young couples starting out as first-time buyers.
Oh, come off it. What young couple are going to be able to afford a house in Fallowfield country town?
Maybe a young couple with more talent for making money than you or your old father ever had.
You mean you're going to let it happen?
I mean, the questions will be considered carefully from all sides, without your particular mixture of selfishness and sentimentality.
We'll fight you, you know. Everybody who cares about the valley. We'll get together and fight you.
You're scaring me to death. A word with you, alone. How long have you known about it, Ken?
Known about what?
The proposed Rapstone Valley development, Fallowfield country town. Don't act the innocent.
I thought it would be absolutely in line with your present way of thinking.
I didn't realize I got a junior minister who was entirely wet behind the ears, politically speaking. Have the sense to remember. The Green Welly Brigade is going to support us at the next election unless we push them too bloody far. There are millions of little people, perfectly decent people, up and down the country, who are deeply concerned about the environment.
You mean the Save the Whale matters?
Have you got something against whales, Ken?
Not personally, no.
They may not be very much use to anyone, swimming about the ocean and suckling their young, or whatever it is they do, but don't knock them, lad. There are plenty of votes in Wales. We're not in the bad old days of the last Labour government who didn't give a fart about Wales, from what I can remember. Keep me informed on the Rapstone development, will you? Unless you want to become an endangered species. I got pushed into the river. The Young Conservatives' dinner dance. Yes, it was a formal occasion.
Bet it was.
And this snotty little gang of old Etonians pushed me in because I was wearing a hired dinner jacket. They said I smelt of mothballs. Oh, and I had a ready-made bow tie you ought to tie yourself. I didn't know that. Bastards.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm most terribly sorry.
I've never laughed about it before. Not ever.
Well, you can now. So that's what made you take up politics?
Oh, I knew just what I had to do. Take it away from those old school twits. That's what I said about it. If you really want to know the truth. Oh, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Take me to the opera. It's your world. Perhaps I should learn about it.
All right. But you must promise me one thing.
What's that?
That you wear a rented dinner jacket.
Right you are.
And if we stick together, all of us, we should be able to make our voices heard.
Yeah.
We're going to fight for our valley. Not because we're stuck in the past, but because we've got to keep our countryside for future generations. Now, I'm sure you all know each other. Mrs. Virginia Beasley.
Commonly known as Mrs. V. Call on me, Chair. I'll be right behind you.
Mr. Vernon Beasley.
Mr. V.
After 17 years in PR, Chair, I think I can put a good deal of know-how at your disposal.
Good. Colonel and Mrs. Wilcox from the Footpaths Association.
We'll walk the footpaths, no matter what they build on them. We walk through tennis courts, bang in the middle of play. In swimming pools, shallow end, of course.
And the Curdle family from the Rabbit Farm.
All in good marching order.
And Kevin Bulstrode representing the church.
Yes, we do feel that to build over this valley would be a sort of blasphemy.
And put bloody paid to our rabbits. And Mr. Jones from the nature area.
To speak on behalf of the dumb creatures.
And
Our experience in PR is, the first thing to look for is an acronym.
What's that when it's at home?
Initials that make up to an unforgettable word.
Like Heath.
Exactly, Mrs. V.
What about hands off our valley? Who?
That sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
What about piss off out of our valley? That'd make poos.
Please, Mum, don't be disgusting.
Save our valley, wouldn't that do?
S-O-V. Solve. I like it, Mrs. V. Well done.
Save our valley. Yes, it has a certain evangelical ring.
Well, will you put the motion, Chair? We're going to be Sov.
And we're going to teach them buggers that hate the lesson.
Well, I only hope so.
How much did these seeds cost?
I'm not telling you. Such a Puritan. Anyway, I hope you kept your side of the bargain.
What's that?
Did you get Moss Boss and hire that suit?
Well, Mira, I have to wear one rather often at functions.
Just another of your politicians' promises.
Excuse me, thank you. It's a good story. Music hardly gets in the way at all.
Joking.
You mind?
I never thought the Opera House was your particular stamping ground.
Well, you don't know everything about me, do you?
You know Christopher Kempenflatt, of course. Mrs. Armitage.
Yeah.
And you?
Joyce.
Jenny Sidonia.
I'm sorry to hear about poor old Grace Fanner. Still, I suppose it was a merciful release.
Not the only merciful thing she ever did.
What's to become of Rapston Manor?
My ex-mother-in-law's only just coal in the ground. It's a little early to be talking about her house.
Isn't this a wonderful place to unwind? Christopher always says he forgets all his business worries after the first 10 bars of the overture.
We're all still talking about that absolutely super Warden interview. It's given us all a great deal of encouragement about Fallowfield Country Town. I don't know if you know, but Fred Simcox is starting up a Save Our Valley campaign.
So ridiculous. 150 years ago, those sort of people would have objected to Manchester.
You live in Manchester?
No, near Lewis, actually, on the South Downs.
There's the South Downs, eh? You ought to remember them the next time you want to dump a new town somewhere.
Of course, you're joking.
That Christopher Kempenflatt was one of the bastards who pushed me into the river.
I wish you'd told me. I'd have spat in his champagne.
Thank you, it was a treat.
Shall we go again?
I'll start saving up.
Why didn't you come in?
What should I tell Gary?
Perhaps tell him to go home.
On Sunday, we'll go to the country.
Where to?
Somewhere. I hope you'll like it. Charlotte never did.
I never understood her.
Well, do you reckon you understand me?
I think we've got a lot in common.
What, for instance?
Opera.
Hello. I'm Sue Bramble. I suppose you're Mr. Titmuss.
Yes.
We're making that for Jenny. She likes Lapsang. It was next to the Earl Grey. Lapsang was always Tony's favourite.
Morning, Gary.
Morning, sir.
The things you get up to the moment my back's turned.
I thought you were away till tomorrow.
I don't think I'll ever be away again. Men are such liars.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I scared your Mr. Titmuss. I thought he was going to jump out of his skin.
I don't think you scared him particularly.
Nonsense. Bolted out of here like a rabbit. I still don't know what on earth can you possibly see in him?
He's like no one else.
Thank goodness.
And he knows exactly what he wants. It's quite an unusual thing to know.
What he wants is you, undoubtedly.
He comes from the country. I think he really loves it there.
You mean he's just a local yokel at heart?
Something like that, yes.
Jenny, the man is a cabinet minister in the government. He's always on the television. You don't get there with a straw in your mouth and a few rustic sayings, do you?
I don't know about cabinet ministers.
Well, you can tell how devious he is. Just watch him on the box. Especially when he's trying to be terribly sincere. He looks like a man with his foot in the door who's trying to sell you encyclopedias. Whatever would Tony think?
Tony wanted me to be happy.
Happy? With Leslie Titmuss? Chalk and cheese.
What?
You're extraordinary, Leslie and Mr. Sidonia.
If he were exactly like Tony, if he wore all the right clothes and he looked as though he'd slept in them, and didn't give a damn anyway, if he knew all the poetry and history that I'd never heard of, and read all the books that I'd never even opened, and could be quite serious, particularly when making jokes, well, maybe Tony would be upset, because I'd have found someone who could do all he did, and perhaps better. But my Mr. Titmuss, as you insist on calling him, can't do any of those things. Chalk and cheese, as you said. So why on earth would Tony be jealous?
Thought Madam might care to look it over. Right. See how
Well, I suppose it might suit me. How many bedrooms?
I think about 10. A lot for the servants, of course, when they had servants. Most of the rooms haven't been used for years.
There's a gun room, I hope, and billiards, and a place for the butler to clean the silver.
Oh, yes, there's all that. Madam might be quite cosy in here. Will Madam be taking it?
On my wages from the gallery and the nothing much Mr. Zadonia left me, well, why ever not?
Didn't your husband leave you anything much?
Tony had nothing to leave. Except for the house in Oxford. I bought the flat with that. Money bored him.
What a luxury to be bored by money.
What on earth's that?
My ex-mother-in-law's favourite song. She liked it because it was about her.
It's her house.
Yes.
Your wife used to live here.
Not for very long. Or very happily.
Used to come here with her.
Yeah, as little as I could manage. I told you the old lady hated me.
What about her father? Did he hate you too?
Sir Nicholas? No, he was a country gent. He wore an old tweed suit and gave his tenants blankets and pounds of tea at Christmas. Thank God we got rid of his sort.
And last but not least,
All right then, I'll buy it.
you can't.
Why not?
It's sold.
Who to?
Me.
What?
I happen to be a good friend of my ex-mother-in-law's solicitor. He told me the whole thing had been pawned to the bank for years before she died. So I got the bank to sell it to me, quite quietly, of course. They tried to get some fancy price on the ground there might be a new development round here. Bloody great new town.
You mean they'd build over this valley? That would be sacrilege.
It won't happen. Not if I have anything to do with it.
So you're going to live here?
That depends
What on?
on you.